Hello everyone, my name is Mariam Mokhtar. I could be mistaken, but I believe that Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim is a jet setter, and he has made more overseas trips than many other former Prime Ministers in their first year of office. We do have an economic crisis at home. So will he stop gallivanting and stay put and focus on Malaysia for once? Don't we have foreign ministers and high commissioners and ambassadors? Now, if the foreign minister is incompetent, replace him with another. But do not try to tackle so many portfolios. He is already Minister of Finance and Prime Minister. And he moonlights as someone who converts non-Muslims to Muslims. So stop being a jack of all trades and master of none and just focus on the cost of living crisis and on Malaysians who are suffering at home. They need your help, Prime Minister. Many Malaysians may not have heard about the vegetable farmers of Kelantan, but they may possibly take notice when the price of locally grown vegetables rises further or when greens are in short supplies. The MP for the place, Kelantan, an area beyond the town of Cemor in Perak, is Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Kelantan lies within his parliamentary seat of Tambun, and the Ulu Kinta state constituency is said to be the single largest vegetable producing region in Perak. These farmers have been cultivating vegetables and fruits and rearing fish in the Kelantan area for over 6 decades. But the authorities seem oblivious to this, and they are locked in a running battle with the farmers. In the past few days, past few weeks, I would say, Anwar's parliamentary constituents would have observed his highly publicized and emotive performance on their television screens defending the Palestinians in Gaza and the Israeli-occupied territories. Many will also wonder if the Prime Minister is aware of their plight. His absence has been noticed, and in contrast, Anwar is more active in crisscrossing borders in the Middle East and in the West, keen on solving problems on the world stage. Now, the irony is that in the 15th general election, the farmers said that they voted for Anwar because they firmly believed that he was their savior. The local farmers and the Cemor Modern Farmers Association, or CMFA, their chief said that the state government wrongly labelled them as illegal farmers intent on obstructing development in the area. And incredibly, the Kinta District and Land Office in Ipoh accused the farmers of occupying land belonging to the Perak State Development Corporation, PKNP, without legal authority. Ever since 2010, that's for 13 years, the farmers and CMFA have held several meetings with the Perak Land and Mines, PTG, office and Kinta District and Land Office. PKNP promised parcels of land as a replacement, but when hilly plots, which the farmers said were not suitable for their crops, were offered to them, they promptly rejected the land. And then, because of that, they were served with eviction notices. The officials who claim that the farmers are illegal squatters need to cast their minds back to the past, when Tambun and the Kelantan, the Cemor, the Sungai Siput area had heightened communist activity. Cultivated land was limited to rubber trees and later to oil palm. Cocoa and coffee were grown until they perished from disease. World prices and global demand dictated the crops that were grown. The settlers and the vegetable farmers moved in about 70 years ago during the emergency when communist guerrillas roamed the area. The PKNP had not been formed then, because the state was still ruled by the British. Many areas were dense jungle at that time, and Chinese settlers were relocated into the heavily guarded new villages. The British claimed that it was for the farmers' own protection, to keep them safe from the marauding communist guerrillas of the MCP, Jinping's army, because the communists would demand food, hardware materials, and medicine from the farmers. Conversely, the MCP, the communists, would argue that the British colonial administrators were placing the Chinese settlers in open prisons, and these Chinese settlers were only allowed out during the day to work in the rubber estates, the tin mines, or their vegetable plots. And all of them had to return to the new villages by 6 p.m. Few farmers had the money to buy land, so they grew crops on the jungle verges with or without the permission of the state. But in most cases, the authorities encouraged land cultivation so that the farmers became self-sufficient. They did this so that they didn't have to look after the farmers. Now, when the agriculture industry became more active, most of the villagers, doesn't matter whether they were Malay, Chinese, and Indian settlers or farmers, would then approach the land office to obtain temporary occupation licenses, or what is known as toll. A fee was paid, and the toll, temporary occupation license, was given in the name of the license holder, and this was not transferable if he were to die. Tolls could be withdrawn at any time. So the question is, why weren't the vegetable farmers in Kelantan and Timor given first refusal? These people, these farmers, they've been growing on that land for 70 years. Their parents, their grandparents, their parents, and then them. These people have a direct bond with the land and the crops they grow. They became successful from their hard work. They did not depend on government handouts. They were self-sufficient. The PKNP are only interested in the development potential of the land. They don't care about the farmers. They don't care about the land or the locally grown vegetables and the labor and employment opportunities which the farmers help to generate. So all these issues came to a head on the morning of last month, on the 24th of October, when officials from the PTG office came to evict the farmers, but they totally mismanaged. They mishandled the situation. They acted like thugs and like bullies, and they used brute force. Of course they deny it. In the ensuing trouble, a PSM activist, Chong Yi Shan, I think that's her name, she was shoved to the ground and she sustained facial injuries and broke a tooth. The PSM chairman, Dr. Michael Jayakumar Devaraj, he was arrested together with a few other PSM, Parti Socialist Malaysia activists. Today, development and urban sprawl have brought the twin problems of greed and commercial exploitation to the farmers' doorstep. Dr. Michael Jayakumar, he was arrested. Okay, now Malaysia has a food security crisis. Malaysia imports much of its food. Agricultural-based companies depend on migrant labour for their workforce because many Malaysians don't like to work on their farmland. And then the government is clueless about making farming an attractive career proposition for young people. If only they would do that. But they don't. Don't ask me why. I don't know. We do not need a war to show how precarious our food supply chain is, or droughts and flooding, to hammer home the message that we are at nature's mercy when it comes to food crops. The government has failed to help Malaysians during the cost of living crisis and when prices of food have spiraled out of control. So I asked this question: when will Anwar return to serve his constituents, especially the farmers of Kelantan in the Tambun area? Thank you for listening. Speak to you soon. If you like my videos, please press like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please also visit my Patreon channel if you wish to sponsor me. Thank you.